Hey guys, welcome to episode 3. So today we're going to be diving into nutrition and talking about foods in Indian culture, how Sanaa would recommend like simple swaps you can do to save calories, and what else?
Just enjoy, like how to enjoy Indian food, still be able to lose weight and not have to go on that chicken, vegetable, rice kind of diet.
Or starving yourself. Or egg and grapefruit.
Or do not try the egg and grapefruit, guys. I do not recommend it. But like generally I have found me tracking Indian foods like so helpful, and it's changed my whole life. Like my mom, she was like on the Indian diet, and this basically was reducing or completely having minimal carbs, starving yourself for like 3 days at a time. They were called water fasts. And to be honest, by the end of it, I saw her and I was like, you cannot be doing this all the time. You need more of a consistent diet. You need something that's going to give you energy. Because she really, really lacked that. And it's so important to recognize that Indian foods do have a place at the diet table. Like a lot of the Indian foods are like low calorie, like okra, gourd, like cluster beans. All of these kind of vegetables are so low calorie if they're cooked properly. And I think people need to realize that that they can still enjoy all these Indian vegetables, chicken, lean beef, lean lamb, all of that, as long as you track it properly, as long as you get your macros right. You can totally lose weight.
Well, that's like what I try and say. Like when my clients are like, oh, can I have this? And I'm like, yeah, you can have it. Like as long as it fits into your calorie goal and your protein goal, then that's fine.
Exactly.
But if you're not tracking, how am I going to know that you're within your thing? So it's really difficult to know that then. That's why tracking is so important in a weight loss journey. It's not forever.
Yeah. And I can understand why people struggle with tracking, because it gets really confusing, especially when you're tracking and you're making meals as part of like a family, and you've got 4 people that are eating. It's like, well, how do I weigh my own rice out and then I make it for everybody else? It gets a little bit confusing. But I always try and work with cooked weights now, because I think that's just easier for me. Is if you track it on cooked weights and then you recognize some weights probably will shrink. So for example, some vegetables probably will get smaller. Knowing those conversions and working with that is so much easier. Also with like a curry, like what I tell my clients is that weigh out your chicken, weigh out the carb that you're going to be having, but the base of the curry I'll always calculate. So for example, in a normal curry you'll put 1 or 2 tomatoes and an onion in it, and then it's water and spices, which is like 0.
Nothing. I don't track spices.
Exactly. And they have so many like anti-inflammatory like benefits from it. So Indian food is so beneficial, and it's really nutritious. But when you're tracking a curry, you would just measure your protein, measure your carb, and don't worry about the sauce. As long as it's cooked in like very minimal oil, you've tracked that already. Then you've got that right there.
There's so many ways of doing it. I think I teach mine in a slightly different way. So I get them on my Fitness Pal. You can make a recipe. And you can log like all your raw weights and stuff of everything you're making into your big dish, and then you would just portion it out accordingly. And that's how I do it. Like it's obviously in all tracking, it's going to be like a bit of an estimate, but it's obviously better than not doing it. And the way that they're doing it, they've seen so much progress, so it obviously works.
It works both ways. I think it depends on how you want to see it. Do you know what I mean? Some people are alright with having a bit of estimation, and then even with mine, some of it, because you're not going to physically see that 1 tomato in your plate. Do you know what I mean?
And it's hard, like, because a lot of them have that barrier, like, no, I can't do it, I can't weigh my food, I can't do that. And then I say to them, but why can't you do it? And then they don't know what to say.
Exactly. I think for me, having the scales out on the table all the time really helps, because physically getting it out from the cupboard, then putting it on there.
Little, like,
I know,
it
doesn't even there,
exactly. And literally putting your bowl on, pressing 0, it takes like 20 seconds. So like if you say you don't have 20 seconds, then I don't know what to tell you. Check your Instagram screen time. I'm pretty sure that's more than 20 seconds.
Fair point. It's not that hard. I think again it's that mind shift, isn't it? It's about
just thinking that you can do it. Because I think I told my mum to try it and she was like, no, I just can't weigh all that, I just can't do it. And I was like, but mum, why can't you do it? Like, why? Tell me why. And she's like, oh, I don't know.
Exactly. They don't have a reason. And like my mum was the same, and like alhamdulillah, my sisters and my mum are all kind of like following my plan, and they absolutely love it, and they they do track their food now, and they've got used to the way of life. And yeah, I know you don't always want to do that, and it won't always work. Like for example, if you're going to a social event, you're not going to carry your scales with you. I get it. Like,
so what do you do, like if one of your client is going out to eat? What would you say?
So I always try and teach them like to learn what their plate normally looks like at home. So for example, half of their plate should be like veggies and salad, and then a quarter carb, and then a quarter protein. Obviously depending on their goals, that will kind of like be different depending on each individual. So when you go out to eat, try and imagine your size plate at home and plate up your food accordingly. Also with like restaurants and stuff, try and stick to one carb. So don't double carb. So if you're having that naan, don't have the naan and then the rice,
or like burger and chips. Like have one
carb is always easier to work with, and then try and stick to protein. I mean, some of it will be cooked in oil, but you can't really do anything with that. But yeah, stick to protein, minimal carb, and then the veggies and the salad. And don't drink your calories. Do not have mocktails and lassis. Those lassis are so calorific.
And lattes, like Spanish. You know, one Spanish latte is 400 calories.
Don't tell me that. I love a Spanish latte when I'm abroad.
It's actually crazy. Like that's a meal. Like that is or like a milkshake or something. It's not worth it. Like for me personally, I'd rather eat my calories than drink it, because once you drink it, it's gone. So yeah, that's definitely a key thing. And even now that I eat so much, I still don't do that. And so it's habits that you instill in yourself for like a long time that you'll have for life.
Yeah, like you said, like as you go on through your nutrition journey, like once you've lost the weight, once you're maintaining it, I'm not going to say you're going to drop everything that you've learned and then start going back to your eating habits.
You can't do that.
This needs to be a change of mind.
A lifestyle change. Exactly. It's a lifestyle change. Yeah. And if you're not willing to do this forever, then you're not going to sustain it. And that's why if you're doing a diet that you think you can't stick to forever, it's not going to work for you. Because as soon as you stop, you'll gain the weight back.
A lot of people struggle with diets because they feel hungry. And a lot of my clients come up to me and I'm like, I'm going to try it for a month because I don't know whether I can stand being hungry. And I'm like, hello, it's me you're talking to here. I'm not going to keep you hungry. And a lot of the foods I focus on are like high value, low calorie foods. So you will have your protein, you will have your veggies, your salads and all of it. And honestly, they've come back to me like, Sanaa, this is too much food. I can't eat it. Like,
I've had that before too. Yeah. So let's talk about high calorie, low volume food. So what is that?
So basically, like for example, your veggies, like I'll give you examples of some veggies, like asparagus, like literally 400 grams, you're looking at like 20-30 calories, not bad at all. Mushrooms, anything that's very, very non-starchy. So your starchy vegetables sort of increase in calories, but like potatoes are amazing.
Potatoes are so good. Oh my God. And so many people fear potatoes and I'm like, no,
do not fear the potato. Honestly, if you've cooked it right, if you haven't deep fried it or anything, they can be such a staple because
it's so much better than having, you know, the frozen chips.
Oh
like, just make homemade
if you like measure the difference between the two, you could get so much more volume from a home cooked potato chip than rather than a frozen potato chip. And it's just about knowing the difference, because then you're consuming the oils and all of that that's from when it's fried. Same with like Indian like vegetables, like your okras, your gourd, your cluster beans, all of that. Like these are very low calorie foods, and pairing that with your protein, because depending on your protein goals, you're probably looking at like 150, 200 or within that range, but that's not enough to fill you up. So you need to have a mixture.
Protein,
and there's so much like micronutrients from these leafy grains.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and don't fear the salad. When people say I don't like salads, I'm like, but you need to think a little bit out of the box here.
You have to make it like a designer salad.
Yeah, exactly. Add in all the colours, like literally the spices and the dressings.
I remember in my weight loss journey, I used to have like a really nice tuna salad like every day. Or tuna or chicken, like I'd mix between. But like it's so nice when you just like chop up the onions, the tomatoes, like this and that, and it's sweet corn you can even add. You know, salsa is a really good thing to add. It's so low in calories. But like obviously gives you that flavour and it doesn't give you that dryness. But yeah, there's so many tips that you can give for that.
You can add a lot of things to salads.
Popcorn's a good one too.
Okay, popcorn is
like as a snack.
I was going to say that's revolutionary.
That is food because it's quite low calorie. And you can eat a lot of it for like not much calories.
If people who are on my weight loss plan will know this, and they kind of get sick of it, but it's a yogurt bowl.
Yeah, yogurt bowls are great.
I cannot go wrong with a yogurt bowl. Like literally craving something sweet, yogurt bowl, craving something sour, yogurt bowl, because I use it like, and not just yogurt, like cottage cheese as well. So like I have a client who says, I really like my crisps. I'm like, right, okay, there's these spicy like sweet chili crackers that you get.
Okay.
Make a cottage cheese dip, put a bit of like chili sauce in there, Tabasco, all of that, and have that, and it is honestly a game changer. And again, it's about making those swaps, isn't it? Like, yeah, you can go and get a Doritos packet and get, you know, the dips and all of that.
Do you know what I find the worst? Tea and biscuits. And biscuits. Every single consultation call I get, especially from a majority client, for breakfast, lunch, dinner, all they have is tea and biscuits. And we probably do the same, like when I lived at home and stuff. But I don't know what it is about it. It's like you sit down with a cup of tea, you have the rusk, you have you get all the biscuits
out. Musca biscuits as well, all of that. It's a jira as well. Honestly, don't forget the jira.
Yeah. It's crazy. And I'm like, that is not going to fill you up. That is not going to be of any nutritional value. Like, but you don't need to cut that out though, because I still have my breakfast, lunch, dinner, and I still have my masala tea. I'm such a tea lover. Like, I have to have it.
Yeah.
I still have it, and I have like maybe one biscuit.
Yeah.
It's not going to be my whole meal.
Just basically factor in what are your non-negotiables. Yeah. And you basically just put that into your calorie allowance and you like, work with it.
Yeah, so like the tea, like I get the sachets now that you can get from like Royal Chai and stuff, and they've got the calorie information on there. Like one packet is 70 calories, which is fine. Yeah. You can have that with one biscuit, which is around 50. That's like 100 calorie snack.
Yeah, exactly. And then you just take it out anywhere else if you're on a deficit goal.
Exactly, okay. And like, because I love that so much and I look forward to that in my day, like it might seem silly, but it makes the day like go better because you have something to look forward to.
And that's probably why you're more consistent, because you still have the stuff that you love in your diet. Exactly. And that's why it's so important to have that, because the minute you start cutting it out, that's when you feel overly restricted. Like my plans, when people speak to me like, okay, you give a cheat day on the Saturday, so what does that entail? I'm like, look, you're eating so well Monday to Friday that I guarantee you, as you go along on that Saturday, you won't go crazy because you feel like you've been satisfied during the week. And I think that's what changes the mindset.
So do you give them a whole day off?
No, so I'll always say one meal.
One meal, yeah.
But obviously at the end of the day, they're like, oh, but you know, I'm going out to eat, so can I have a dessert or can I have this? And I say to them, look, at the end of the day, I'm not going to define your cheat meal, because that's up to you. And if that gets you through the week, that's fine. What I always advise them, on that Sunday, get back on track. Yeah. Because the minute you start deviating Saturday and Sunday, that's
or even like just your breakfast is gone. Yeah. And then you do your lunch and then your dinner. Like just leave it to that one meal.
Yeah, exactly. And getting that protein in the morning as well. I find that so important.
It's so key.
Especially being a mom who's like working and then you've got to sort your kids out in the morning or you've got to get to work and stuff. Have the chai puddings, have the overnight oats ready in your fridge, ready to go. Ready. Yeah, and it's a game changer.
Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Definitely.
Yeah, I love that quote. I totally resonate with it. And I'm such a prepper. Yeah. So I'll always meal prep. Yeah. And it doesn't work with everyone because, you know, with Indians as well, they like, especially Indian husbands, and I'm not saying anything wrong about Indian husbands, but sometimes they like fresh food, right? Yeah. And so some of my clients are like, well, I can't meal prep because my husband won't eat it. So what I say to them is just marinate these chickens or whatever and keep it in the freezer. So when you are cooking for the day, you've made your life a little bit easier.
Yeah, so it's Plan just ahead. Ready.
Yeah.
That's so true.
And then like with fillings and stuff as well, you can make fillings and put those in the fridge and then make the actual thing on the day, so it doesn't feel like you've had a day's worth of
exactly.
food.
And I always tell them, like, plan your diary the night before. Yeah. So then when it comes to that day, you're not faffing around thinking, oh, what should I have for breakfast? Or you've had your breakfast, lunch, and then you're like, now I need to have 600 calories and hit 50 grams of protein. How am I going to do that? Whereas if you plan it out, then you can edit things and change things so that you can meet your goal. And that's just key. And then you'll start to learn like what foods will help you hit your goals, and you'll just like repeat the same things that you like and don't have the things that you don't like. And it's quite fun sometimes because it's like you've got like a certain amount of money to spend, and like some of it needs to be spent on protein, and then the rest you can have whatever. So
I love that analogy. And once you've hit that protein goal, it's like, right, free reign now. I've got this many calories left. And
that's another thing, is that like people will say it's obsessive or it's this or it's that or it's too much, but like you would track how much money goes into your bank account. So why would you not track what goes into your body? Isn't your body more important than your bank account? Totally. Health as well.
Of course. And even Islamically as well, like you should really look after your body. You should be careful about what you're putting in, so it resonates with everything. Definitely. As a Muslim woman as well. But cooking with oil. What's your thoughts on it?
So I know you don't use it, but
Yeah.
I still use it. But I track it though,
Yeah.
so I know exactly how much oil there is, and it's just a tiny bit. Because it does give it that flavour sometimes. But so with how I do it is with Englishy stuff, I use like the spray oil and it's olive oil. Whereas with like Indian food, I will use sunflower oil, but just like a tiny bit.
Yeah, and I think that's what I tell my clients as well, is just use a little bit, but just make sure it's tracked.
So what do you do?
So
because I've seen you do this and I don't understand what you do. So explain.
So like, it's the whole thing about sizzling spices, right? Because a lot of people that have tried it, they're like, well, how do you not get that raw spice taste without using oils, right? And so what I do is I cut my onions, I put my spices in there, and I literally dry roast it for a little while, so it mixes in with everything, and it just lets it cook.
So it's just onions and spices
for the time
No
being.
ginger garlic.
Oh yeah, with the ginger garlic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you add the onions, add ginger garlic, and then add your spices and whatever you need to, and then you just let it dry roast for a minute, and then when the pan's hot, you pour water in it, and it basically like sizzles the spices, and it makes it into a paste, and then you add your tomatoes, and then you add a little bit more water in, and before you know it, you've got a really nice consistency of a paste without using any sort of oils. And you don't get that grainy taste without cooking.
So do you need like a non-stick pan for that?
Ideally, yes. So a lot of I've invested in my pans now, so I'd make sure that they are like non-toxic coating and all the rest of it, but I have used other ones in the past and it has worked fine with that as well. But just use a little bit of spray oil. But even with spray oil, I'm kind of like moving away a little bit now, because there is health benefits from having like olive oils, the healthy fats, and the ghee,
like
and
wouldn't fear it. Like you can still have it.
You can still have it. Just use it in moderation and track it within your calories, and you're good to go. But like with cholesterol and stuff, you've just got to be careful.
Exactly. But someone going from like using a ton of oil to literally doing what you said, or using a tiny bit, they're going to cut out an insane amount of calories and probably see so much progress just by doing that.
Yeah, exactly. And you can eat so much more. Like you're saving those calories. Spend it on a bar of chocolate.
But that just goes to show, like, say like you've cooked a curry and like I've cooked a curry with like loads of oil. The amount on my plate and I eat it, and then the amount on your plate and you eat it and it's the same, like mine would be like 1,000 calories and yours would be like 400 or something, and it looks the same. So you might as well do yourself a favour and do that, because oil doesn't keep you full.
Exactly. It just obviously adds to the flavour, which I do get. But it's something that
I don't get it to a massive, because I don't like that really oily taste.
You get a bit of heartburn from it now, like when I have
like sometimes on Eid day I'll see like we eat like it's literally meat and oil.
I know. When I went to a wedding, and then I was like, can I have a bit of oil served with a bit of lamb, please? Because it was like the amount of portion of oil in that curry, I just literally felt like I was having oil.
Yeah, it's horrible. Like, who wants to eat that? And that's literally what's in your arteries. And
I get why against like Indian cultures that do it before, because oil is meant to be like a preservative, so food used to last longer with
really?
oil
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like with wedding and stuff, like when they make such a big batch, the oil helps preserve the food, which again I understand, but especially as we move towards like not big households anymore, like people are living individually and stuff, you don't need like food to last for days.
No, that's the problem. Like with me and my husband, it's just us two. Like I'll make something and then sometimes it lasts like the next day, then sometimes he won't even want me to make a certain thing because I make so much of it and it lasts for days. So it's hard. It is hard.
And even with like fried stuff, like I need to address this, like in Ramadan, right?
Oh God.
Fried samosas, fried rolls or whatever, everything fried, because I come from where we did in our household, we never used to have only fry when we broke our fast.
No, same.
But since coming here, I've seen, especially in Gloucester, I've seen a culture where they only eat fry, and I'm really confused at that.
I think it's certain like families, obviously my growing up, we didn't just have that, we'd have fruit and we'd have that. Nowadays, like we just do the air fryer. I think I did a reel in Ramzan and it did really well. I think it was like, you eat like 2 fried samosas, a few kajur, you go pray Maghrib and you're already like on this many calories because one fried samosa is like 250 calories. So if you eat like 3-4 of that, which is so easy to do, that's 1,000 gone.
And that's why you're not losing weight in Ramadan.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why. I think it's just what you're used to. Like my husband, he was used to having that every single day, like without fail. So I think initially we did have it, and then he me being healthier, he obviously wants to be healthier now, so then we just moved to air fry.
Yeah.
And I never thought he would even like it, but he's got used to it now.
Exactly. And I think maybe again back in the days it was a food that you could prep and put in the freezer, and then it'd be easy for in Ramadan to just fry it up and not have to do a bunch of cooking. Again, like transportation wise, like when you're sending food around to people's houses, it's easy just to send a plate of fries.
I don't know about you, but I hate having that thing on my gas cooker of oil.
I just don't anymore.
I don't have
and
it
it stinks the house down, and I just can't be bothered with it all. So
it's just horrible. And it's not even just that. You have that, and then you have like your soba with ice cream in it.
The faluda and all of that. I mean,
and it's just like a ton of calories, like empty calories. It's empty calories because it's not nourishing you, it's not doing anything for you.
But do you feel like these kind of traditions have come down? Like, for example, when nowadays, when you follow a craze, right, suddenly you get 10 people, like the Dubai chocolate phase, right?
Oh my God.
You see one person doing it, and everybody follows. So back in the days, do you reckon one old lady somewhere thought,
let me just make a triangle thing.
And it probably like targeted, for example, malnourishment in Ramadan because it's getting all the fats in, all the calories in without people losing weight. And that's probably why it stuck, because this old lady sent it around. It was like, oh great, this is what keeps you energized. And it's probably been passed down after generation, which is probably why we followed. And now,
but I think it is shifting. Like air fryers are so common now, and hopefully obviously more and more people get to know like how unhealthy it is. They just don't. And a lot of like people in our generation, I don't think they do it anymore. It's more like the older generation who expect that.
Because I really struggle in Ramadan. If I'm going to go out to eat at my in-laws or whatever, I won't feel full on that samosa anymore. Like, I need my high.
Wait, so you don't have a meal, it's just the fried food?
Really? But that's how my in-laws are like, and that's because the thing is, obviously, like, it's mainly boys, so they're in and out, like always does tarawih and all of that, so it's just quick and easy food. Obviously now, like, we have our own house and stuff, like we will cook proper meals, and we've moved away from the fry, but if I'm going out, I kind of try and decline like going out in Ramadan because I enjoy a plate full of food.
So in our case, like, that would be like your starters. So you would have all the fried foods, the fruit and stuff. You'd pray Maghrib, then you'd come back, and then you'd have your main meal. So it's like even more food. But so definitely wouldn't recommend it as just a meal, because if anything, you've done such a good thing by fasting all day. You've done something really good for your body,
put something good in your body,
and then you're just gonna ruin it by clogging it all up again, and then you're doing the same thing the next day, and that's not going to make you feel good on the next day that you're fasting. So you want to eat something that will kind of nourish you for the next day. So having like your kajur, your fruits, your electrolytes, so like your coconut water, having like a proper meal with balanced protein, complex carbs, and then even having that, and then like another meal after, like a snack or something, like a yogurt bowl.
I lived on my yogurt bowls in Ramadan. I used to add kajur to it. I used to break my roller with a yogurt bowl because it was just so cooling, and it just made me feel a ton better. So
no, it is good. Yogurt. I had one this morning actually for breakfast.
Oh, it's a staple in my household constantly. The amount of yogurts I buy, like, it's crazy. We're like coming like 6 to 8 tubs per week. That's because Oasis is also on it now as well. That's
really good.
And even like with kids and stuff, it's so easy just to whip something up for them,
and that's really healthy as well.
But it's also important to understand what type of yogurts are actually the high protein ones, because I think there's a lot of misconception on that. Because I had a client and she was going shopping and she was like, right, I'll just get this one, and she showed me, and I was like, no, but just look at the nutritional value on that. It's got a ton of sugars.
Is it like a flavoured one?
It's got barely any protein in it. You need to get the authentic stuff. And she was like, I did not know the difference.
And people just don't know. You have to get like the Greek style yogurt, fat free, 0% fat. I mean, I have, because I have more calories now, I have 5% fat. But if you're trying to save calories, then 0% fat is a great option. So the Aldi ones, they're really good.
I always stick to the Aldi ones.
Or the I think it's pronounced Faye, but everyone says beige. But they're really good. So I usually go through a tub of those. But it's really, you can add that into smoothies. You can make You know Pepe's?
Okay.
The chicken and rice.
Oh, yeah.
So I recreate that at home. And to make the garlic mayo, you use like a bit of the 0% fat yogurt, a bit of light mayo, some water and garlic powder and mix it together. It tastes exactly the same. Yeah. And it's so much less calories.
I put yogurt into everything. So even my burger sauces at the moment has got yogurt in it. And I feel like I'm potentially like 90% yogurt at this point, but it's totally fine. I'm getting my protein in.
Boosting the protein content of everything. Exactly. So that's really good. And the more you eat like this, the more it just becomes normal.
Yeah.
Like my sisters, I've did coaching for them and they've completely changed their habits, their routine. I don't think they would even look back now. Yeah. And funny you say that, like in Ramzan with the sorbet, like my sister really likes sorbet, so she started getting the high protein milk and making it with that. So it's just making simple swaps and she still found it tasty, found it nice. She actually makes go khichdi with the high protein yogurt.
Nice.
But I said to her, I just don't know if you can do that.
Well, my dad was joking on one of my posts saying eat milk with protein, and I was like, Dad, that's taking it too far. And,
oh my god, you could use the high protein milk.
No, don't.
I have to get my granddad to do that. He's the one that makes the Eid milk.
Saying that though, I think there's some foods where you just want to enjoy without having to worry about protein, because I think there's such a drive to get protein into everything, and it's a little bit overkill at times. Like protein brownies, honestly, I tried a recipe and I made it look great. The minute I tasted it, I was like, nope, nice. I would rather have 1 bar of chocolate and not have minimal
That's another
protein
thing I wanted to mention, is that there's so much high protein marketing out there, and it's not even high protein. So have a look at the nutritional value, because some stuff like high protein noodles or high protein this or high protein that, like it will say high protein to get you to buy it,
any different,
but if you look on the back of the packet and it's got hardly any protein per serving, actually granola's the one, because granola, there's no way you can make it high protein, so just don't write high protein. It's way better just getting like your eggs, your fish, your chicken, like try and get it from Whole Foods and then supplement where you can.
Exactly. And I think that's the main focus, is like back in the days, they never used to have protein powders and protein this and protein that. All their nutrients were from Whole Foods, and you can totally achieve your protein goals without having the supplements. The supplements help in terms of like deficits, and sometimes when you can't, when you don't want to be eating a lot. But if you stick to your eggs, your chicken, your fish, your tuna,
tofu, if you're vegan.
Eggs is a bit of a tricky one though, I do feel, because I feel like everyone thinks egg high protein, I'll have one or two.
It's not even that high protein.
It's not. When you calculate it, when I do an eggy breakfast,
well, people just have 2 eggs.
No, that's not enough.
It's not enough.
I literally have to add.
And then
my
people
egg
are
whites.
like, I can't eat that much, I feel sick. And I'm like, well, just eat it, and then you'll get used to it. And you'll eat more. But you can add egg whites. So
cottage
egg
cheese
whites is really good.
And then turkey slices as well. I always like
and you know the Jason's protein sourdough, that's really good. Because 1 slice has got 10 grams of protein. So 2 slices of that, 2 eggs, and then you've got 30 grams of protein.
It's literally about making those swaps, isn't it?
And just without tracking that, you won't know that.
No, no, exactly. Oh no, that's really good to like obviously like have the discussion on about that. But do you have any other questions or any sort of things that you'd want to know about nutrition or diet?
I think when you know that, like say you have to go to your in-laws house, like what would you do on that day?
So I always try and pack in my protein at breakfast and lunch when I'm going to because I think with Indian culture as well, it's a cost implication, isn't it? So when you go to somebody's house, you can't be hogging all the chicken from the curry. That's a bit rude, isn't it? You literally take all the chicken and like, yeah, there you go. I've hit my protein. I don't know about you guys, you know? And I think that's where the struggle comes from, is the cost implication of protein. So be a little bit mindful of that when I'm going to my in-laws and stuff, that I won't be able to eat all the chicken I want.
Yeah.
But if I've managed to hit my goals for my breakfast and my lunch, at least my protein is manageable. And again, like I went the other week and I had the curry and I had a slice of pizza, so then I chose not to have the curry with roti because I had my carb with the pizza. So it's about looking what's available to you, choosing one source of carb, prioritizing the protein, and not drinking the calories, and that's how I manage it.
So it's just thinking like, not I can't track, so I'm just not going to do anything. It's still having
be mindful.
that mindfulness. Yeah, definitely, and that's what makes it like a game changer, really.
Yeah, and I don't even like take my own plates anymore to my in-laws, which is great.
Did you used to?
I did, yeah. And she'd be like, "Oh, you're eating from your own plate again." I'm sorry, like you know.
See, I don't think I could do that.
Yeah,
I think if I went to my mother, I'd feel really bad doing that. So I never did that. Yeah. But I would just like allow for it. So I'd intermittent
Yeah.
fast in the morning
Yeah.
and then go there and then eat and enjoy, like, again, be mindful. But you're
exactly.
brave though to do that.
Yeah, I think me and Oasis were both on once. We both used to come with our own plates.
Perfect. That's all right then.
So I
At
didn't
least you
feel
had his
as
support.
bad.
Yeah.
But it's definitely got to a point now where we're like, you know what, Mom, just cook whatever you want. We'll enjoy it, and then it's
Well, no,
fine.
that's the beauty of maintaining.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I'm so happy to be in the stage now where I can enjoy food a little bit more.
Exactly. And actually, because I've got to such a high point in my calories, if I did want to drop like a few kg or do like a mini cut, then it's so much easier for me now because my deficit would be so low. Whereas when I was in an initial deficit, it was like 1300 I was on because my metabolism was so messed up from yo-yo dieting all the time. So,
saying that though, short girl over here, like 1300 is like the deficit or what I'm slowly working up towards at the moment because it was just so low.
Oh my god.
I'm so sure.
What are you on at the moment?
So currently I'm on like 1400, which is great.
Okay.
But like I'm trying to get to like 1600.
Yeah, you should
slowly.
be able to get to 16.
But I'm doing it very slowly. Like
Do the
very slowly.
weight training.
Yeah. Because I don't do a lot of weight training and strength training. I feel like if I do this slowly and then I get to a decent amount, at least I can maintain on that and not have to worry.
Yeah.
But yeah, like short girls have it hard.
I know, they do. They do. It is hard. But it's funny though, because like even though now I'm eating this much, like sometimes I still feel hungry. Like
it's because your body gets used to it.
Yeah, exactly. You get used to it. So even if I did go into a deficit, I think I would find it hard again.
But then that's where your low calorie, like high volume foods come in, don't they? You just bulk up more
I'll
on
be asking you for a meal plan.
Yeah.
Perfect. Should we wrap this up?
Yeah,
then?
definitely. But
any last tips you want to give?
I think definitely learn the sizzle of spices and bulk your foods up. So try and portion your plate properly. Make sure that you've got your salad, your veggies, your protein and your carbs. Don't have 5 cups of rice, guys. It's not going to work, is it? If you're trying to lose weight, you're going to have to compensate. You've got to sacrifice. You've got to make those swaps for initially, and then you'll be at a stage where you can maintain your weight and you can slowly increase the volumes of your carbs. But for the time being, just try and portion properly. Try and track as much as possible. The oil is not invisible. It all has calories. So yeah, that's about it from me. But yeah, any questions?
Well, that was really like what do I want to say?
Insightful.
Yes. Thank you, Sanaa. It was really good because we definitely want to still eat our cultural foods.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah. Thank you so much.